Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Division 2 Week 3 of Serenity Gaming Wintersplit as Lyra take on Elf T2. Lyra currently sitting second and need 1 point to move to the top of the table, while T2 need a 2-0 clean sweep as they sit in fourth. Joining me today and to take us through the games is Hat. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Milky?
I am doing excellently, and I know we've got a lot to talk about, so come on, talk us through all of this.
Okay, sounds good. So, one thing that we're looking for today is the change in, obviously, the metagame. If you've watched Pro Play, you've seen this Karthus jungle. That is something that Milky and I are ready for today. With that Requiem, with the staying in the jungle, you know, ganking with your Wall of Pain, I believe. I believe that's his W.
Yeah, Wall of Pain.
And then those Requiem plays coming from across the map. You just have to press R. It's no biggie. And then we're also going to see if we can see a Draven today. As we get into draft, talk me through that Tristana ban from Lyra.
I do like the Tristana ban because you have Toto, who we know he loves those kind of hyper-scaling champions like the Twitch, like the Vayne. So that's removing one of his picks. But I also like the Janna because one of the counters for Karthus is a Soraka, but Janna can do a similar kind of thing with her ultimate.
I agree. There's also a lot of shielding. You'll see that Orianna band. I think the Orianna was something they looked at in scouting out T2. I see the Sejuani band, which kind of burst my bubble. I really wanted to see a Sejuani in our game today. Lyra's first pick for ADC is Vayne. We knew that scaling matchup would occur, so I'm curious to see if T2 picks a Draven. We see the Galio first for that excellent engage with the Nocturne pick that came up. I'm interested to see how Lyra tries to counter that jungle in their next pick.
And you do have that really nice wombo combo with the Galio, with the Nocturne, and of course Galio just really good in any kind of team play because he has that ult. So again, might not see it that much in solo queue, but when you're playing with a team, as we are now, it will work. And Vayne Lulu, that can be an extremely strong bot lane, as Zilean is also locked in for Lyra.
It's interesting to see Zilean. I definitely think that Zilean will go into the mid lane with Killcore, and I'm interested to see if Lyra picks up the Aatrox. Aatrox hasn't been banned. Urgot got nerfed along with Aatrox. It might be totally different top laners. Who knows? I'm interested to see where T2 goes. They pick a support. Braum is really good. I'm curious to see if they'll see the Lucian or Ezreal here. And I'd be very shocked to see T2 pick someone else other than that. Although I would like my Draven pick, Milky.
Yeah. But we are entering the second stages of ban. So as you mentioned, we will likely see the Lucian ban as Shen is banned now. We know Mela, who is a top laner for Lyra, has played a lot of Shen. 3 Shen games in his last 4. Are they forcing him onto his Trinder 1 trick pick?
I think they're going to try to do that. If they ban Tryndamere, we'll know they're focusing top lane. They haven't seen the top lane out. They're curious to see what he can do later in the game. I'm curious to see if Lyra chooses Aatrox. I get giddy over just res from Zilean, from the Aatrox ult. The Kai'Sa ban going to T2, which is fine. I don't know if T2 was wanting to go Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa Braum isn't something you'd expect. Yeah. The Trundle ban from T2 makes me curious to see...
there's the Lucian ban.
Ooh, I can see that. Lucian, I want T2 to pick Draven. It's open. You're open for Draven. If you pick Xayah, that's fine. If you pick Ezreal, you want a safe lane. But Draven right now gives them that early game burst that Nocturne also gives them and gets them ahead early as well. Milky.
However, would you not expect them to... I mean, they'll probably pick their top laner first because Lyra haven't picked their top laner, so they can get... Oh, Ezreal. That's something we didn't talk about.
They want a safe lane.
Ezreal is really strong. Yeah.
Ezreal's really strong right now because of that AP ratio, especially coming out of his ult. You'll see that during the mid game, you'll half health your enemy team, because it's such a change from his past ult to the current one that you're not expecting to be half health by Ezreal's ultimate ability.
Yeah, and as Zac gets picked in, now we know Krina has played the Zac before. Obviously, jungle has already been taken for T2. As Jax is he going to be locked in?
I think this might be... Oh, it is locked in. That's interesting. Jax base AD got nerfed this patch, but he's still pretty viable in the top lane. Jax is also a great pick into anyone because he does have that counter strike. However, I think it was mainly a safe top lane pick. You see the Zac from Craner. He's really strong on the engages and objective control. He has almost over 50% kill participation in all of his games that have been played, and so it's very interesting to see that matchup. The Fiora in response to Jax. I'm really interested to see how Muller does.
Now, Fiora Jax is usually a skill matchup, isn't it?
It's very much a skill matchup. I believe there's a League cinematic a long time ago
where
Fiora was facing Jax, with Gragas and TF betting on them.
Yeah.
And so we're Gragas and TF, and I'm curious to see. My money's on Fiora, but it also depends on the jungle pressure. Jax and Fiora's lane pressure and how they manage their waves are going to come in real clutch here.
Now, speaking of that jungle presence, something we have noticed over the last, I guess, few games is that Killcore is really susceptible to those ganks. Now, Nocturne, not one of the strongest engage or strongest ganking champions like the Zac is, or like something...
Pre-6 at least.
Yeah, pre-6. But post-6, Zilean has the ult that lets him survive just a little bit longer. So, how do you see this going for Killcore, considering his previous known susceptibility, let's say?
Well, I can see Killcore being told by his team in-game, as someone who's played on teams in general, as we all play the game.
Yeah.
It is, when you see a Nocturne, you know you can push up a little early. That Zilean pick is fine, because you have that wave clear, especially late. You'll build that Luden's Echo. I'm just curious to see what his build will be, because if he uses his mana improperly, he's going to have a very poor lane against that Galio. Galio I can see roaming a lot more. However, if Killcore doesn't... My thing to remedy Killcore's lane pushing is if he started roaming more. If he roams more after he pushes out a lane, then he can go to the bot lane, assist them with a few bombs, and then come back to lane, clear wave, so he can soak up XP and also help other laners. Zilean has that speed up with his E, and so he can get to and from very quickly. I think that would be the remedy, or else Killcore's just going to have a hard time with the hard engage of Galio in lane. Milky.
Yeah, and what I do enjoy about this T2 lineup is the fact that they've got more globals. The Galio's got the global, the Nocturnes are okay. I guess they're not complete globals because they don't have max range over the map, but you can get a fair distance over the map. Ezreal also with his ult, and you would be expecting Fiora to take the TP. So I do like the look of Elf T2 in that kind of team fighting aspect, being able to split push and all of that. While Lyra, I feel maybe you'll see a TP from the Zilean and the Jax, but you could still see maybe an Ignite coming from that Zilean.
Agreed. With the Ignite, you could see Ignite coming from Zilean. I'm thinking Barrier, maybe even Heal. Barrier's really strong right now, especially from mid laners. We've seen that over the years, especially with a Nocturne in the game. Something I'm really curious about is the Zilean Zac interactions, having the mid laner follow the jungler around, because when Zac dies, he has his passive, and then before you proc the passive, you throw a Zilean ult on him, and then he's rezzed again, he can continue fighting, and then his passive procs. That's a lot of times Zac is still in the game. Zac's ult also combines with Mueller and Zac's, so he's going to bring people to Zac, not Jax, and then their names are really similar. Okay. And then Jax is going to stun them all. And you have that CC coming in from Zilean. I do believe, looking at this, that Killcore is bringing Barrier. And we have 2 TPs on the side of T2. One for Hunti and the other for Jerkson on the Galio, which gives you global presence. Ignite has been nerfed, and so I don't know if we're going to see that a lot other than in the bot.
Yeah. And one thing I was kind of interested in, and I did want to ask, although it does look like it's not going to happen, is would we see the TP Ezreal? Because it has been a thing that has been played a few times where the Ezreal support takes the heal, but it does look like it's going to be a conventional heal and ignite from both bot laners.
You know why you take the Ezreal TP is so that you can get back to lane, you can start farming, so that your mid game, you are the monster with your ult and with your WQ combo. I see that Toto brought heal but I don't know why, as the Vayne Lulu early game won't be as strong as maybe they think it is. But I'm curious. Lulu and Vayne is a really strong matchup. You get that extra attack speed. Vayne's cooldown on her Q is incredible right now. And if you win any against any skilled Vayne, you just hate yourself. You just hate existence. And so I'm really excited to see how this goes, especially with Kawhi on his Braum today.
I mean, I'm not even a Vayne main, but I've played a few Vayne games, and Vayne just feels so much stronger right now, and just feels like so much more of a threat and so much more of a pick potential, even in competitive play.
I agree. Looking more at T2's team, we talked about their globals. I'm expecting a 4-mid Fiora split. How do you think Lyra will counter the split push of T2?
Oh, it's going to be interesting because you mentioned that Fiora wants to split push, but Jax is the king of split pushing. I believe that's his term, the king of split push from Jax. So I guess it's just going to be Jax and Fiora still in the side lanes battling it out for the entire matchup. So it does feel like the entire split pushing potential has been neutralized. But going on to the mention of the global ultis, I don't know why, but a few of the games I've noticed with Galio's is I've seen Galio's trying to engage with the hero's entrance a bit too late, and then they end up dying as well. So hopefully we don't see that, but that's potentially something to watch out for, a possible late hero's entrance into a team fight.
There's also, with more TPs in the game, we'll see Mueller taking TP, but that's the only TP on the side of Lyra. However, you'll see generic Hunti with TP, you'll see Jerkson on TP. With more TPs in the game, you're going to want more vision. You're going to want more spaces where you can see the team, but also not try to TP where you, and this sounds weird because it's very basic, where you don't have vision so the enemy team can see you and collapse on you. We saw an Ezreal yesterday in Pro Play TP in the middle of a ward where his team was, but by the time TP finished channeling, the enemy team was on him. And so I'm very curious to see how the TP interactions will play out today. As we all know, you cannot cancel TP, and so I'm really curious to see that commitment come out from T2 today. Milky.
And mentioning the fact that you can't cancel TP, that was a recent change, which I don't know. I don't know if I'm a fan of it yet. I haven't played top lane where I've needed TP, so I haven't actually used TP since the chain has come out.
You monster. You're letting your team down, Milky.
I'm a support main. What do you want? Okay, but I do want to ask. Okay, Lyra don't have that many TPs, but could we potentially see one of them take something like an unsealed spellbook, or is that rune viable on any of their champions?
I think with Jax and Fiora as auto attack champions, you're gonna want to see press the attack, or even Hail of Blades if you want to get real risky. We see Jax on Conqueror, and Fiora is also on Conqueror today with Hunti. Some notable runes right now while we have them up. Zillion has the Airy, Galio with your Aftershock, Ezreal, Klepto Steel. Something really interesting that I think I want you to talk about. Tempo brought Hail of Blades on Vayne. Tell me about that interaction.
Oh god, Hail of Blades. Now that's something you usually see on the Lucian, and if, again, correct me if I'm mistaken, but Hail of Blades is the rune where once you get your first auto attack off, you then gain a burst of attack speed, which on something like Jin's really useful because your attack speed is a load of, it's terrible. Right, so the Hail of Blades is really useful because you get to get your combo off, and then after you've done your fourth shot, you get to run away, and then by the time you've reloaded, your Hail of Blades is back up. So on something like a Vayne, where you're able to get your auto cancel off with the tumble, your tumble empowered auto attack, and then a normal auto attack, Hail of Blades can be really useful because if you can get the condemn off combined with the Lulu polymorph, you'll be able to get off loads of damage, especially onto Ezreal if he has already burnt his E.
E and Flash. The thing is, I agree. I think Hail of Blades on Vayne, you'll see that sometimes in the top lane, if it's not Klepto. You'll also see that Hail of Blades Vayne is a way to mitigate that early game weakness that Vayne has. Especially levels 1 and 2, where you don't have your W right away if you bring Q first, and vice versa. As we get in the game, what is your prediction on the match? Who do you think is going to take it away? Let me know, Milky.
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to put my money on Lyra just because they've been so strong this split. 2 clean sweeps against Roskilde and Helsinger. And I don't know. Arguably, they should have been in Division 1. I think there was a bit of an issue at the end of the previous split with playoffs. So I think Lyra they've got the potential to be in Division 1. They were in Division 1 last split. So yeah, my money's on Lyra.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I'm always one for the underdog, you know, big American over
you
here.
you have to be, don't you?
You have to. Ever since the Revolutionary War, I've loved the underdog. As we get in the game, we'll see that we'll take their starting positions, and I'm curious to see if we have any level 1 fights. And you know, your generic warding, they all line up in a line and they emote at each other and they dance. I don't think we're gonna see any early invades, but I mean, it would be interesting to see that in the next game or so.
Kawhi has exerted the dominance. He did land the Winter's Bite onto Graftwall. So, as I say to all of my fellow casters, when that happens, Lyra should just FF now. But one interesting thing actually is I think about 90% of the games I've casted, so like 5 of the 6, the first Drake has always been Infernal, and I've always called this the Serenity Gaming Drake. I don't call it Infernal Drake anymore, I call it the Serenity Gaming Drake. But it is a cloud that we will be starting with. So I guess we wouldn't expect to see that much kind of pressure on the Drake or a massive team fight around Drake.
I agree. We see Kreiner starting red buff, which is pretty generic. Some junglers are nowadays doing the buffs all by themselves, especially when you get Olaf, for example, whose new item, by the way, is Redemption. I'll talk about that later. See that. I'm more curious to see how the jungle pathing towards the top lane. As you said, it is Wind Drake, or Cloud Drake, one of the weaker Drakes out there. And so I think we're going to see a lot of action with Mueller and Hunty in the top lane, and a bigger fight for that Rift Herald, and in exchange for Dragon. Might be a caster curse thing, as we see some few trades coming out from the top lane and bottom. But as we can see, Nocturne and Zac are both pathing towards the top and trying to get that vision presence right away.
Yeah, and Nocturne getting the Scuttle Crab on the topside river, which, I mean, Zac's still on his topside jungle, so Nocturne has the possibility of getting the double scuttles.
And you know, double scuttles win the game. I'm sorry, as someone who jungles occasionally, when you get double scuttles, it's just like, did the other jungler DC?
Yeah, it's a beautiful feeling, isn't it? And then that's a bit where it comes up on your screen, the enemy team has got first blood, and you're like, oh, he was getting a kill.
Exactly. I like the deep ward vision. You'll see that from, I believe Galio put his ward down. Yeah. Kind of a little deeper, which is nice to know if Zac's ever going to come in, because Jerkson knows that he's going to have a little bit of early pushing power against the Zilean. He wants to know if Zac's going to come over that wall and hit him while he's trying to get those turret platings. We get a lot of trades coming in, and I'm surprised to see he's actually doing some damage onto the Zac.
And actually, Tempo getting off a fair bit of damage in the bot lane onto Kawhi on the Vayne, just able to get a few shots off. I'm not sure if he got off the Condemn. Condemn. My English skills are awful today.
It's alright, just pretend that you're not chewing gum right now, and you should be fine. I'm really curious, that Hunty top lane matchup, like, Hunty's really pushing Jax out of lane with that low health that he's putting Mueller in right now. The flash is expended for Mueller, so I'm really curious to see if Mueller's going to go back and sacrifice the farm, or just release that vision from top lane into the hands of T2.
And P666 does get the beautiful, beautiful double scuttle. But again, I am really interested in this bot lane, because I would expect that Tempo should have a slightly better early game than the Ezreal until Ezreal gets tier. Then once he's got the tier, then I would expect Ezreal to be stronger until you get to more of a late game where Vayne just becomes disgusting.
I was curious to see that Toto didn't actually try that engage with their level 3 power spikes. A lot of low elo players don't play around their power spikes. We're seeing Kreiner
Oh, we're going to have a
the bot
fight
lane.
here. Kreiner is going to possibly get caught up by P666, but P666 can get away nicely because he has that beautiful scuttlecraft. But here comes Killcore. He misses the double bomb, and he won't be able to get the stun down. However, P666 is forced to burn the flash. And now Toto is getting slowed, but he will be able to jump over the wall. Oh, and that's a beautiful condemn from the Vayne. Kawaii tried to jump over to Toto, and there's the first blood from Tempo as Tempo flashes over the wall to pick up the kill. Toto quite low, Tempo won't follow, will just be content to with one kill.
And that's a beautiful play from Tempo, as we see a taunt coming in from Jerson in the mid lane. Beautiful flash, knowing they can secure the kill. I believe if you are the Lulu, if you are Graf in the situation, really communicating, saying, hey, he's been ignited, but the resistance on Braum, especially after using
look at Toto. Toto's really low, and Tempo will get the last hit as Ezreal tries to jump away. Really nice play there from Grathwell to get the slow in. And going back to that last team fight, I just want to say, that Tempo condemn was perfect because Braum tried to jump over to the Ezreal using the W. What is it? Stand with Braum, I think it's called. Anyway, yeah, sorry, what?
No, you're good. Keep going.
So he tried to jump over to the Ezreal, but the condemn landed, which cancelled it. And then Braum was like, oh, damn, I've got a flash now. But look, top lane. Fiora is going to get done by Mela, and Mela picks up the kill. Here comes Zach a bit late, and he won't be able to get any kill participation there.
No, the best part about that was Wheeler's like, all right, you want to 1v1 me? That's fine. I'm going to totally dodge all of your abilities with my Counter-Strike. And he still had Kreiner coming up to help. He knew he was going to secure the kill because Hunty was pushed up so far. As we see Hunty blow the TP to try to get back in the lane for farm, I'm really curious about like how skillful Wheeler's going to be because he's already shown that he can take this matchup bar none, hands down. And I'm curious to see if he's going to roam as well. I just want to mention also, in that fight, we didn't see the start, but Hunty actually used her ultimate, while Mela didn't. So Mela should have the advantage now. He's also a level up, and Lyra currently steamrolling this, 3 kills to 0, and they have 600 gold advantage. Which is not something you want to see as P66. As the Nocturne, you really want that early pressure, and you don't want to, of course, give away 3 kills before you get level 6. You're going to want to power farm. You're going to hope to maybe catch a lane that's pushing in. So it's not looking really well for T2 right now. They still have a little bit of scaling. You know,
here comes Tempo in the bot lane. He gets off a fair bit of damage onto Toto. Toto's going to have to back off. Braum comes up with the shield, but it's not really going to... It scares them off a bit, but Tempo got 2 kills to 0. Very strong as Vayne, but still, we do still have to watch out for the Ezreal mid-game because it is disgusting. But look in the top lane. Mela goes in on Hunty. The counter-strike will get the stun off. Hunty a bit too early with... I'm not sure what the Fiora dodge is, but here comes Hunty with the leap. And Hunty's able to flash out to safety. But now let's look bot lane. Toto's really low, and there comes the bomb from Killcore. Killcore trying to run out. Can he get to that blast cone? He can indeed, and P666.
He killed him with the Airy. Watch the
oh my god! But look, Tempo's coming in through the turret. The minions allowed him to just walk in through the turret and come in behind P666. But Kawaii surely is gonna die now. Is this another kill over to Tempo? Yes, it is, and Tempo now 3-0-1 on that Vayne.
Incredible playing over there. We got their entire team's pressure while Mueller's bullying Hunty on the top lane. Coming into the bot lane, securing those kills. Killcore, he may push up all the time, but his pushing up right there just secured him 2 kills. One with his Airy, the other with just a spicy bomb placed on the top. And so I'm really curious. He may be down in farm, but he's definitely not down in gold right now as he looks to build that, what's the item called with the tier that's not Marimuna?
Oh wait, hold that thought. Top lane, Mela can't quite get the kill. Hunty's able to hit the vital spot and take the kill.
That was beautiful. I'm curious to see, as I was saying, and I was trying to yell earlier, like, re-engage, re-engage. Fiora, with her parry, can re-engage on the Jax after Jax has used that Counter-Strike because Fiora has better agility, the fencing player that she is. She can definitely come back and heal if the ult is used properly, and kind of outperform Jax in that matchup. So I'm curious. That top is going to be definitely a lane to watch. The rest of the game for T2, however, isn't going how they wanted it. As they try to clear out some vision in the bot lane and try to reclaim their space, I'm curious to see if T2 just takes the dragon just to get one objective before the game starts really snowballing in Killcore and SRG Lyra's favor today.
Yeah, and one thing I did want to mention before Fiora picked up the kill, as Mela is actually going to jump and gets a favorable trade, but that's going to be it. But Zach and Nocturne quite close. Who got the scuttle? It was P666. Zach, is he going to go in? I think...
nah, he's waiting out because he was seen by P66 and the vision they have there. Engaging right now would be smart, but not from that angle. As Hunti still has the Q dash up.
Yeah. And there's a re-engage on the top lane. Mela really low. Hunti doesn't have flash up, but here comes the Nocturne Paranoia, and he will pick up the kill on Mela. Great cleanup from P666.
And just like that, they're back in the game. There's only a 200 gold deficit. You'll see their confidence rising slowly in their play. If they can win through the top lane while Tempo, with that Bilgewater Cutlass almost to a Borg, is just flooding the bot lane with damage, I believe that's 4-1 split push from T2 could actually succeed. But if you are Tempo and Killcore right now, you really got to see, as they take objectives, you really got to manage the pace of the game so you don't fall behind with the rest of your team.
Because T2 have picked up the Rift, and that's 11-minute Rift, which is really early. So expect to see... Oh, look, bot lane though. Toto's gonna die. Kill Tempo picks up a lot of damage. Kryner really low. There is the Zilean ultimate. Grathwol's gonna die, and Tempo is gonna pick up another kill.
Yeah, beautiful use of the chrono shift to speed in there from the Zilean. They're really focusing all their resources bot lane. One of my win conditions today was that they were going to win through bot lane. And so, as they pick up...
Oh, wait. Here comes the not the Zilean DS wheel up, but it's not enough damage.
That's damage.
Sorry. Oh. I was just cautious. I know how much damage that can deal.
He has to wait until he gets that pickaxe. And also finish that Iceborne. We'll see that Lyra's picking up that first turret, which gives them extra gold. It also does splash gold damage on like pre-seasons or past seasons where it's whoever, you know, hit the tower last, got the most gold, and there's assist gold on towers. There is no assist gold on towers anymore. As Dragon gets set up, no.
Oh, look at this. Jurgensen is going to try and collapse in on Tempo. Tempo is he's going to get caught out. He gets taunted. Zilean gets the stun off. And will they be able to escape? Here comes Zach with the ult. And Gallo, the hero entrance is going to be a bit too late. Not going to get up or knock up Tempo. He's looking to re-engage on Toto. Zach will have to burn the passive. Toto really low, and Tempo will also fall. Here comes the TP from Jax
to save.
Oh my god, Kryner so low, and Raptors can't quite finish the job.
That is a beautiful play. We didn't see a lot of death expenditure, but you did see the sacrifices that Lyra would have to make with that TP. T2 and Hunti gets a few more turret platings and gets to build on the lead with that 500 gold bounty. And how much farm differential is between those two? I can't do math.
A lot.
That's a lot.
43.
So,
44.
as T2 takes Dragon and takes that top tower, you gotta wonder if the sacrifice...
Will Mela get caught out here? 3 members of LC2 are turning up. The Paranoia is also coming through. Yep, he does get the fear. And Jax will die. And that's Mela's 3rd death.
Bullying is bad. T2 should know this. Just don't be a bully. As the shutdown comes from the Lulu.
There's too much stuff going on. I have like 6 things I wanted to say, but now I can't remember any of them.
Never. In high tempo games like this, where there's 15 kills at 15 minutes, it's gonna be insane. Keeping up, we'll see that SRG is pushing that top lane, and so T2 is gonna have to figure out another objective to push while that top lane tower goes down, as they probably can't contest. Although Jerkson did come up, they might not be able to contest the pressure coming from the top lane. Milky.
That was something that was really good from Lyra, because T2 picked up the Rift Herald, but Lyra were able to still get the first turret, even considering that. However, if we look top lane, Jurgensen does get the taunt off on Tempo, but Tempo will get off a lot of damage as now Hunti turns up. They will have no help. This is going to be a standard 2v2. Tempo is hutified from the Lulu ultimate. Tempo's going to run. Can he get away? The turret's really low, but it will deal the damage. Grathwol will pick up the kill. But here comes Killcore. And Tempo will pick up the kill as Jurgensen tried to re-engage right at the end.
Lulu is the best champion in the game. I'm sorry. Without Lulu there, it's insane. Grathwol has definitely decided that with their Ignite, with the shielding, with the ulting on the Vayne, they could effectively re-engage and turn that fight in their favor. P66 on Muller right now, bullying. Straight bullying. Blast cone out.
Can I just say something? Because I haven't seen this yet, but there was a message in the all chat from the Galio, and it was just quite simply a capital B and M.
You know, Jerkson, you're trying to protect your tower, you're trying to re-engage, and then suddenly you are the one that gets counter-engaged on. You're gonna feel a little bad, man, about that right away. You see Nocturne.
Here comes, there's a gank from the Zac. He gets the ult off onto Kawaii, but Grathwol picks up another kill. Give your kills to the Vayne. Again, Grathwol was under his own turret, but it was a really nice engage from Kreiner. Was able to pull the ult back, and you do have to be really careful of that, as I have to remove a lot of spit from my monitor screen.
That's a really good visual. I'm glad you've given us that. So Grathwol is actually helping Tempo. Kawhi was under his turret, which is usually a safe place, unless of course you have a Zac and a Condemn, in which no place is safe for T2 right now.
Yeah, and don't forget the polymorph from the Lulu.
Oh yeah, she is the best champion in the game.
Don't you just hate that when you go for a really nice engage and you're like, right, I'm gonna do it. For me, usually it's on Leona, and then Lulu's just like polymorph.
I hate it when I'm engaged polymorphed and then I get CC'd by something else. You just can't play the game. As Lulu, you decide who gets to play the game and who doesn't. And that's one of the best parts. You see Tempo taking tower aggro, but it's okay. They got a tower.
One thing I want to mention, which I think a certain producer within SRG Gaming is going to be happy about, is my first game was on Lyra, and they picked a Lulu, which came out to be huge. And it turned out that our producer actually recommended the pick because she's the Lulu main. So I think she's going to be quite ecstatic with this as well.
I think so too. You know, providing good representation for all mains around here is something we strive for today.
Can we call Grathwol an Eagle then?
Yeah, I think we can. I think that's exactly what we can do. If I'm Muller right now, I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid of Nocturnes. I'm afraid of Hunti. I'm afraid of Toto even. I'd be afraid of any damage until I can get my farm up to where it needs to be. If I'm Kawhi right now, I need to establish vision control. If I'm Kawhi, I'm level 8 and I'm 2 levels below the enemy support. I need to find a way to get experience and get my items as quick as possible. As someone who's an M7 on Braum, which doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, it's just so demoralizing when you're behind in levels, you're behind in items, and your vision control isn't what it should be, as T2 has to turtle right now as SRG sets up for the Dragon objective.
And Hunti doing that split pushing that we mentioned. But Melee on the Jax just hasn't seemed to be able to outplay Hunti. We mentioned that this was going to be a skill matchup, and Hunti has been the more skillful, it would seem. But going on to that vision score, Grathwol has been really good on the Lulu. Well, as has all of Lyra been really, but he doesn't really have much a high vision score.
The reason for this is that he's following Vayne around, and when you follow around your ADC as Lulu, you're not really paying attention to the ward, you're paying attention to giving attack speed to where it's needed. Milky.
Right, and again, going over to the items, if we look at the mid lane, as we're going to possibly get an engage, as Kreiner is looking to try and get Kawhi, he will not be able to hit the Q though. Ezreal's nearby. Grathwol is going to take a lot of damage actually from the arcane shift. Oh, here comes the ult, and Fiora actually lunges into the ultimate. Will that kill her? Here comes the Jax, and Melo will pick up the kill. Toto just unable to do any damage, and P666 is gonna die. That's a lot of damage from Tempo.
Hero's entrance.
Hero entrance just too late though, and Vayne gonna deal a lot of damage, almost killing him if only they had. Oh, but here comes Tempo with
Lulu's
more
the best
damage.
in the game. That's
What
insane.
is that? Was crazy. What even killed Jurgensen there? I missed it. As here comes Kreiner going crazy to try and kill Toto, but he can't do anything. He's all on his own.
Jurgensen.
Oh, here comes Tempo. He gets off a lot of damage onto Toto, but he's gonna have to back up.
They're fighting in between towers right now. It doesn't matter for them. I believe Tempo just said in chat, even though he didn't. But if I was in chat, get on my back. I'm gonna carry the game. I'm surrounded by support champions other than Jax. Let me carry you through this game and get on to game 2. Because right now, that's exactly what Tempo's doing. You're seeing that they're trying to reset their ward control. They're trying to push back. The worst thing they can do in this situation is overstay. But if I'm Tempo right now, I'm definitely going, no, I can take all 5 of you on. 1v9, get on my level.
Yeah, and the Vayne's just picked up the Rage Blade, which is why she's able just to do so much damage so quickly. And that combined with Hail of Blades, I actually think is disgusting.
It is very disgusting. I figured it would help him out early game, but matter of fact, it just helped him out throughout the whole game. It's insane the amount of utility Tempo got out of Hail of Blades. One more thing before we get into another fight, which is bound to happen. How do you think T2 is going to get back into this game? They're at a 3k gold deficit. They're down 2 towers. What is their win condition?
Oh, I was going to ask a similar question. That's a question for you. But, right, okay, going on to that, I think the Fura, although she's 1-4, is going to be extremely key. But there comes the Condemn to stop Jurgensen using the Blast Cone. But now look at this. You've got Tempo, who has been cut off from the rest of the team because P666 did use the Blast Cone. But he's coming in from behind as Mela will get off the Counter-Strike stun. And Tempo picks up another kill. Toto trying to deal as much damage as he can with the Arcane Shifts. But he just cannot get enough damage. Sorry, not Arcane Shifts, Mystic Shot. Arcane Shift is the E. What am I doing?
Lyra sets up for Baron. There's something.
They're gonna do it.
Look at that Hunty split push in the bottom, by the way. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah.
But as they set up for Baron and as they push it, P66 used his ulti defensively, but the rest of his team went and engaged, even though he was trying to get them all out of there. So a little bit of miscommunication. However, Hunty's taking it on to his own hands, gathering that experience, pushing out the bot lane. They may have sacrificed Baron, but they're definitely going to have at least one wave push in their mind.
And we literally just said that their win condition is going to be Hunty on the side waves, split pushing. However, I am slightly disappointed with T2 there because the Ezreal ult came out a little bit too late for my liking. And also, they didn't pressure Lyra afterward. They didn't try to stop Lyra from backing to contest Hunty's split push.
I want you to comment on something here. There's a Magi Soul Stealer on Grathwall right now. Grathwall knows he's just got to keep racking up those assists, build up that AP passively. If I'm T2 right now, I don't even know how I'm going to get the Lulu, regardless of tempo or kill core or any other threats they have on their team.
Usually it's the ADC who's sitting right at the back playing safe, but no, in this case it's Grathwall. And you always hear that when you're playing in solo queue. Don't focus the ADC, focus the Janna, focus the Soraka, focus the Lulu.
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to hear that in solo queue. It's usually going to be, why are you killing the ADC? The ADC is killing us. And you go, yeah, but if we kill the squishiest target, we might be able to kill the ADC. As we see, multiple lanes are split pushing.
I was just going to say, you've got it all wrong. It's not focus the squishiest person. It's focus whoever's low on health, even if that is a Scion who's built full tank.
Wow. I would love to play with you one day, okay?
Oh, but here comes the Vayne. He's got to pick up the kill on P666, and he is disgusting as he also picks up a kill on Kawhi. But look at Jurgensen. He's taking so much damage. There is nothing that T2 can do. As now you've got Kreiner, who is going in. He tanks the turret damage. Galio trying to get the hero entrance, but he's just going to end up dying very quickly. Mela has the ultimate from Zillion, but he's not going to die regardless. Toto tries his best, but he's the only one alive for T2 right now, as Lyra are burning through this team and through objectives.
I mean, effectively, Kreiner's also burning through the team. He's 0-0 and 11. He's assisting on almost all of these kills, and half of these kills right now. And they're backing off I assume mainly to go get Dragon and push out that top. They're playing it safe, but if I was 6,000 gold ahead with Baron buff, I don't know if that would be on my mind, but I'm very proud of the restraints coming in from Lyra right now. As they take the Drake, they're going to kind of reset the map, give T2 some false breathing room as they try to recapture some of their jungle.
Yeah, and I do like that because Lyra have... I think Lyra have a better scaling composition. So why would you try to rush it out when you have the advantage early game? You have the current advantage. Let's just play. Let's just take more Drake. When the Elder Drake comes up, we will be disgusting.
True, and that's even if they get to the point where Elder Drake is up. If they get a good split push and a good minion wave push, I believe Lyra has this in the bag. Convince me otherwise. But I do not believe T2 can come back. Especially if you see Mueller in the top lane, Jurgensen can't land a stun. Mueller's
and Jurgensen's about to die as Mela gets a flash in to get the stun from the counter-strike, and Tempo just turns up at the perfect time and says, hey, I'll take that kill, thank you very much. Now I've got my Phantom Dancer and I'm going to be building IE.
Beautiful, and just as we said, they're pushing that top lane, supers are coming through the bot lane, mid lane is wide open, they have a man down, Kriner's jumping in,
and Kriner's going to jump back out, and he takes so much damage. Wait, he has the Warmer's armor. As Tempo's going in, here comes P666. He gets the Hugify, trying to get the damage onto Toto, but he is forced to flee thanks to the Nocturne. But it's going to be another kill going over as Kawaii falls as well.
Lyra just wants kills at this point. You remember what the G2 game yesterday where we tried to call? I think they're just going to try to bait him at base to see how many more kills before we decide that Lyra has officially won the game.
I honestly feel at this point, Tempo could walk into the fountain and get off the kill before the fountain killed her. 100-0, but Lyra will pick up the kill. And before we do head into a break, what do you feel that T2 have to do heading into the next game to turn this around and stop Lyra getting another 2-0 clean sweep?
I think they need to have more pressure on the bot lane. I enjoyed their Nocturne pick. And I think you need to play Nocturne with the intent on getting pressure in every lane. For me, they had the best comp. As chat's talking about right now on Twitch, Lulu, Heart Lulu, everything Lulu. However, I still believe they had the comp to win it. What I'm really struggling on is why they didn't engage early as they should have. I think that was mainly the skill that Lyra has, the experience they have, and their scaling that really won them later in the game. And more importantly, their objective control. If I'm T2 right now, I need to focus on my objectives. I need to focus on getting enough CS. I need to focus on my laning phase. And I don't want to see a game, if I'm T2, go 15 kills in 15 minutes. I want a slow-paced game. I want to scale up. And then I want to fight him 5v5 in the lane, not in the jungle.
Right, so we're about to head into a break, but I'm just going to give what I think T2 need to do if they need to win. And on that word, we will go into our break as a beautiful transition. So my one word is Karthus.
Karthus, I agree. All right, we'll catch you later.
The night beckons while you dream. A life never lives in peace. As you stand upon the edge, woven by a single thread, and fate may fall down upon you, while the devil is knocking right at your door. So are you restless? Each night you hear the drums of war. Awaken, awaken, the voice begins to call you while you hunger. A taste of destiny you're searching for. Awaken. Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment, now is your time. So prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Rise, push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you. Rise. Welcome to the climb up, reach for the summit. Visions brave, the one false step lead the end. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your blood, go and take it. This is your moment, take to the skies. Go prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Rise, push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you.
Got it.
It is you fight among the dead beneath the dirt. Or do you know yet? Or do you want it? And when the giants call to ask you what you're worth, or do you know yet? We don't die. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Pick up your weapon and face it. Rise. It's deep in your blood, go and take it.
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, relentless, you survive. They never lose hope when everything's cold and the fighting's near. It's deep in their bones, they'll ride into smoke when the fire is fierce. Oh, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never die when the world's calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, legends never die. They're written down in eternity, but you'll never see the price it costs. The scars collected all their lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their hearts and avenge defeat. Before it all starts, they suffer through harm just to touch a dream. Oh, pick yourself up,
Tell me where do I go? Tell me where do I take us? Your heart is starting to slow. May the water be safer.
Good evening and welcome back to this best of 3 between Lyra and Elf T2. Lyra took game 1 rather convincingly, and Hat, I know how much you want to see that Draven. Surely it's now or never.
Surely, I'm definitely gonna think it that Toto is gonna want someone that really hits him hard early game. Nothing, and I repeat, nothing is better than that Draven right now. Show him what you got. Pull out all the stops. It's this game. It's now or never. Also, I want to see P66 do what we always want a jungler to do, and that's pick Karthus. Milky.
One thing we should mention is Tane actually won game 1 versus Ares, so we'll constantly give you updates on what's happening in that game. However, you have mentioned the Draven. What about the Karthus though?
The Karthus is something that I'm itching to see, especially when a team like T2 thinks they may fall behind. And so when you see a Karthus come out, you're thinking, all right, we're going to play passively because we have to play passively because our Karthus isn't going to have the lane pressure. And so it forces the rest of your team to kind of turtle around your towers or do safer plays, which helps Karthus scale to the later game.
Now, one thing I've noticed about Lyra in the few games that they've been playing is Mela, right? He never has, or at least I never feel that he has the strongest laning phase, but he always comes good towards the end of it. So I would like to see T2 focus less on him and maybe focus on that Grathwall tempo bot lane, because it was insane in game 1.
I agree. I think Tempo needs to stay on the vein, needs to pick up that Twitch again. Tempo is open. Tempo could actually break Karthus bot lane if they wanted to. Tempo could even go Draven. The Tempo is popping off right now, and as much as I'd like to see Tempo reach out of their comfort zone, I think their bot lane is where their comfort zone is. I wouldn't imagine Grathwall going on anyone except, an AP support. The Lulu game was incredible. I want to see if Kawhi has an answer to that. I want to see if Toto has an answer to focusing their support champions. More importantly, going to you for my next question, how do you think, and what do you think Killcore is going to play? We saw him on the Zillion. I'd be surprised if we see him on Zillion again, but I'm also ready for it. He played a brilliant game on Zillion. He comboed well with Kreiner and Mueller to get those stuns off in a game that early top lane we thought was going in the direction of T2. Do you think Killcore is going to pick a Galio? Do you think it's Zillion? I'm thinking potentially Cassiopeia.
I'd like the Cassiopeia idea, because we have seen actually a few people in the chat saying Cassiopeia ADC. But with that aspect, guys in chat, get that chat room lit up as we will be heading into game 2. But I would like to see him play the Zillion again. It worked really well for him. And if he doesn't go for the Zillion, I would actually like to see Alessandra, because it is another safe champion that he can play and he won't be susceptible to those ganks. And
I agree.
Actually, again, going off the entire Draven thing, now, Toto played the Ezreal, and we mentioned in the pre-game how much Toto likes hard-scaling ADCs. Ezreal's not a hard-scaling ADC. He hits his max about mid-game, maybe late mid-game. So put him on what he likes. This is the thing. This is what I always find questionable. If your player likes something, unless it's something like really, really weird, just let him play it, because he'll play that much better than he'd play something else that he's not that comfortable on. So I would like to see maybe go back to something like the Vayne, something like Tristana or Twitch. The Tristana was banned last game, but again, with that Draven, we know that Kawhi can play something like the Nami or Morgana, which does synergize really well with the Draven.
I agree. The thing that Toto's just going to have to realize is that the tempo in the lane is set by tempo. It is set by the other ADC, so I imagine that wave control is something that he's going to have to prioritize his lane around. I think getting maybe a good Alistar in there, getting a knockup, some imposing force to stop Lyra, but also on the opposite end, if you're going to pick Braum again, or if you're going to pick something else to kind of counter what Lyra's going to throw at you, it's definitely going to have to be something with more engage and more, hey, we're going to do this. This is our conviction. We're T2. We're going to show you that last game didn't mean anything.
Yeah. And the thing is, I would like to see them ban out that Zac, because Kreiner has shown how well he can play on the Zac with those engages. And the thing is, Lyra synergized so well that he's literally just able to just jump in, take loads of damage, and just jump right out. So I feel like Zac's something that worked really well for Lyra, and I would like to see it get banned. But I also want to go over to Jurgensen. He played the Galio. Maybe he should play something more aggressive, like the Karma. He has played it twice before. Orianna was banned last time out, so possibly could see either of those two champions get picked.
I agree. We see pretty generic picks around mid lane. Sometimes you'll see a stray Yasuo in there, but it's Galio, Lissandra. I can definitely see Lissandra being picked by Jurgensen this game if Galio is banned. If we don't see a Galio, I'd be really surprised about this. Galio right now just has that engage that is so worth it in all lanes. And so
he has that engage, but all of the games that I seem to have been watching, the Galio always somehow loses. I don't get why, but everything that should happen never happens when I'm casting. I don't get it. Cast is curse or something, but yeah, I actually want to see a Nico. I want to see a Nico. I'm sorry, but I do want to see that.
Well, Nico did get kind of nerfed in this patch, but mainly on the slow from her ultimate. All right.
And as you say that, we are heading into pick and bans. Now, LG2 have blue side, and the first thing they do is ban out that Vayne.
Yeah, as we get kind of into this, the Vayne ban, I think that's direct ban. We see Tristana coming from Lyra ban on the other side. Something that I'm concerned about is now this shortens down Tempo's ADC pool, but I don't know how much T2 are going to focus that bot lane. We'll see the Sejuani ban, that's pretty generic. Janna's coming out, so maybe they know something about Kawhi that we don't know, but
maybe he's been playing lots of Janna in solo queue, or I don't know, something like that. But then again, we do know that Lodberg's not playing today. We do know that Tempo does play the Kai'Sa, so it might just possibly be a ban against that, just so that the Janna can't sustain a Kai'Sa in lane as we now enter into the first pick.
I agree, and with Janna, you get, you see the Camille coming out. P66 on that Camille.
Pick.
That's beautiful flex pick. You could, oh my goodness.
There we go, Mela is on the Trinder. Yes, get in there, guys.
He's like, you know, last game, I didn't really show you what I was capable of, but now we're going to go with Riot's second favorite champion, minus Ryze, with Tryndamere, never changing, undying, god of the top lane. Rammus comes in, so I'm pretty sure the secure jungler for T2 is Rammus. He's a very consistent jungler. That means Camille will go to the top lane.
Oh, we're going to see a Syndra. Syndra and Nivea mid lane.
The Nivea still could be flexed to support. However, I imagine that Syndra and a Nivea, it's going to be a very skillful lane. We see the Fiora band coming from Lyra. Because with Syndra, you'll be able to power farm. In Anivia, once you hit 6, farming becomes easier, zoning becomes easier. I don't see a lot of roaming coming from the mid lane, but I do see a lot of junglers now playing around mid lane, and whoever establishes that priority wins. The Scion ban coming from Lyra, which is just
I find this interesting
strange.
because T2 have banned off the Jax, and then Lyra said, okay, well, we're going to ban your Fiora, as Zac is the final ban, and Kai'Sa locked in for Tempo.
I'm really surprised that if Anivia isn't flexed to support, that the support hasn't been picked yet, and that Lyra bans
we're gonna see a Lucian Braum. Lucian Braum bot lane. What is the support? What is Grathwold gonna take?
I hope it's Anivia. Oh, coming in clutch with that. They're hovering Alistar. That's gonna be a good lane. A very patient lane, which is what Toto wants. He's gonna want to kind of collapse on the Kai'Sa. Alistar's not gonna let him do that. We don't have the Zac for the hard engage for T2, but we do have the Rammus who can taunt and single out those targets. I hope it's Predator Rammus. I want another choo-choo game, and I want to see T2 take this away.
And again, we do have split pushing potential. The Tryndamere, of course, can split push, as can the Camille. So expect to see both of those in the side lane. But yeah, Lucian Braum extremely strong because they can just get off those concussive blows so quickly with the Lucian double shot as his passive. But if you have an Alistar, as soon as they go in, Alistar's just like, bye-bye.
Exactly. and as Alistar with that combo, if you catch Toto out, the Kaiser's gonna burst you down. Alistar isn't as tanky as we'd like him to believe, especially early game. He's a big cow and he's got big moves. But as we slowly start to enter the game, you'll realize that they're going to play passively until they reach that level 3, until we can get that micro stun off. And so that's the time where Toto and Kawhi have to really push the levels before 3 onto Tempo and Grathwall.
I do find this interesting because this is the complete opposite of the last game in terms of team play, because you've only got one teleport from either side. You've got no global ultis from either side, but you do have a fair bit of CC. The Camille can lock someone down, and when Camille does get that lockdown, Lucian's going to deal so much damage. Braum can ult on top of that with a Glacial Fissure, and Syndra can then ult as well. Rammus can roll him, etc, etc. But then, if you look at the side of Lyra, you've got the Anivia stun, you've got the Anivia wall, all of which can deal a lot of damage, especially when Jarvan launching in with that Cataclysm.
And so, something I always like to point out, in high impact games such as this one, where T2 really needs to win, Lyra set themselves up for great defense and a great jungle fight. You have the Colosseum, you have the wall. These are a bunch of zoning abilities that can separate T2's members from each other. If T2 gets run rampant, let's say takes over mid lane and takes over bot lane, Lyra can still come back through the mid game. They're offering themselves a little bit of security with that Tryndamere, with that egg from Anivia. Just as we saw last game from Lyra, with the Zillion, you'll be able to, revive with Anivia's passive. You have the Tryndamere ult. You have a bunch of sustain when it comes to those large team fights. And so, as much as I want to see T2 come back, it might be a little bit more difficult when you look at Lyra's comp and what they can do not only as a split push comp, but as a team-based, focused SRG Lyra.
One thing we should go over is, of course, the lane match. Now, bot lane, T2 should win that. If T2 don't win that lane, Lucian Braum, possibly the strongest laning duo out there, alongside, Zyra Khan, maybe Draven Nami or Draven Morgana. But that is the strongest lane, so T2 should win that hands down, or at least be ahead on CS and push the wave in. What about the mid lane, the jungle matchup, and the top lane matchup?
Well, with Jurgensen on Syndra and Killcore on Anivia, I can see Anivia really trying to dominate that matchup, mainly because if you establish your presence in the mid lane with a J4, you're going to have more pressure than Rammus will ever have. Rammus, you're going to look, as P66, will look towards the top lane to try to get Tryndamere's death count up there before 6, and you're going to look to the bot lane when Tempo gets pushed in with Grathwall after level 3. And so it's all about how they manage the enemy team's power spikes if T2 really wants to succeed in early game. The Camille-Tryndamere matchup, Camille has a lot of escape and engage, while Tryndamere, I'm going to let you take Tryndamere. I am not a fan of Tryndamere, but as much as I am not a fan, I do respect the champion pick. As we go into game, I'm going to be interested to see where the junglers put priority in their warding, and if they focus on bot lane, and hopefully we'll see that SRG Infernal Drake come out instead of the Cloud Drake we had last game.
Yeah, I mean, we need to see the SRG Infernal Drake. We only had one last time. I think all of my games I've seen at least 2. But one thing I would like to see is we've mentioned that Toto and Kawhi should push in that lane, which would mean that Kryna is going to try and come and gank them. So I would like to see that Rammus being alert in his bot side jungle, always ready for the counter gank. And maybe Camille as well with a really clutch TP.
Exactly. As we're kind of getting a peep at the runes, we see Camille with Press the Attack, Tryndamere with Conqueror, nothing really new there. Rammus, not Predator, but instead Aftershock. And so when I look at that, I'm seeing Rammus wanting to slowly power farm instead of ganking with Taunt right away, especially at the bot lane where Tempo would be vulnerable pre-3. So right away, looking at the runes, I'm seeing nothing substantial. Syndra has Electrocute, Killcore has Arcane Comet. I'm really seeing standardized lanes. Hopefully we see an invade as we load into the game, but...
Oh, we always have to see the engage. I want to see that Grathwall flash knock back into your enemy team, all of that kind of stuff.
So we'd like to officially welcome you into T2.
Welcome
versus SRG Lyra. As they set up, we're not seeing an invade right away. We're seeing them line up as per usual, emote spamming, trying to get that ward pressure, trying to ward those pixel brushes. I'm really excited to see if tempo pops off again. My focus is going to be on the bot lane. We both, as discovered, are support mains. So we're really focused to see how Kawhi and Grathwall manage these two tank matchups.
I was about to say, Lyra have already messed up the matchup, but there you go, Grathwall spamming the Moo Cow Alistair Bell. So he knows what he's doing. He clearly knows how to use that skin.
We need more cowbell, and Grathwall, you're giving us it.
I'm going to
so
start
happy.
a petition on change.org that every single champion should have a Moo Cow skin so that they can use that bell.
I think every single champion should play an instrument, and Karthus should just be the lead singer.
Karthus, right, okay. Why Karthus then?
Well, Karthus, when you do his dance emote, he sings. He screams. And so,
so we need KDA Karthus then?
We would need KDA Karthus. Although he does have a pentakill skin, which does incorporate
of course.
the singer.
So essentially Riot are doing their whole new universe expansion thing. So we need to see like some kind of talent show off between KDA and Pentakill then.
I would love to see that. I would.
But as we say that, here comes Kreiner for a cheeky little engage on Jorgensen level 2, but he's not going to be able to get the flag and drag off. But very little cheesy level 2 gank there from Kreiner.
Jorgensen was afraid. He blew the flash. He could have just walked right out of there, only suffering some minor health damage. We're really seeing T2 try to play it safe, just as discussed in the early
but
game.
look up top. Mela trying to get off a fair trade, actually. Fairly even between Mela and Hunti. And actually, talk us through Mela versus Hunti. Because a lot of times you hear, okay, especially if you're playing against something like Twitch, you want to do short trades against Twitch because if you last longer. But actually, hold that thought, because bot lane, we've got a bit of a gank. P666 trying to get the damage in. Braun with the leap. Winter's bite is not able to get a stun off. But yeah, everything all happy at the minute.
Hopefully it stays that way. We never really get a breath with these games, which is kind of concerning, because that means that Lyra knows that they can just keep pushing, because it's never T2 that has a successful engage. It's always Lyra coming in, disrupting the action, which is always beautiful. Before the Rammus bot, you were talking about Hunti and Mueller, and I believe Mueller has the stronger level 1. Hunti has the stronger level 5, and we're going to see who can punish each other best before 6, where I would assume Mueller would win that on his main, Tryndamere.
But also in terms of doing a trade, for both sides, would you want to be doing a long trade or short trade and back off? How does that whole champion interaction work?
For the top lane specifically, if you're Hunti, you're going to want to farm and you're going to do short trades. If you're Mueller, you're going to want to hit him, get your blood well up, Q, get your health back, proc that Conqueror. In the bot lane, you're going to want just a very generic lane. Something T2 is doing really well right now in wave management is hopefully keeping it their wave right there, so Rammus always has a time to gank, which doesn't give Tempo or Grothwall a lot of time to get back to their tower in this long lane that is bot lane. Coming in the mid lane, you're just going to see Syndra shove. You're just going to see Jerkson just shove the bird away. I hate birds. Take a taste of my balls.
Is that a birdism there then?
Yes, exactly. And Killcore, it's all about farming for Anivia.
We're getting a fight between the junglers. Oh no, P666 will back off there. Sorry to interrupt. I just thought we might see an epic fight for first blood.
When you're J4,
bot lane. Grathwall's gone in. He gets a stun off onto Lucian, but Kawhi is blocking all the damage to stop Tempo from being able to hit the ADC.
Can they grit that? Oh,
there's the stun. The stun's off. Lucian trying to get the damage off. There's the ignite going both ways. Can he pick up the first blood? He does. Grathwall trying to get the counter kill, and he will pick up that kill. Kawhi will get the stun off, but that's it. All summoners have been burnt from both laners, with the exception of Kawhi's flash.
That was brilliant. That's exactly.
Here comes Jarvan. He does have the flash available. Where's the flag and drag? There's great flash from Kawhi over the wall. But now look, topside, Mela has to press the attack, has been procced on him from Hunti. He's gonna try and he's coming in from behind because Rammus is about to fly up into lane. Here comes Rammus.
Watch that top
Oh,
of Rammus.
Mela's not able to pick up the kill.
Before 6.
And there's the kill.
That was best. Mueller didn't have 6. We coming in. Krainer's game.
But here's Jurgensen. And Jurgen, what is this game?
God. Okay, so we're only at 4 kills at 6 minutes, which is a better average than 15 kills at 15 minutes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we'll start with the bot lane. It's exactly what Toto needed on the Lucian Braum.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
We need to do this quickly, though, because there's another fight that's probably going to start in like 5 seconds.
Exactly. So that's all they needed. Toto needed that first
Oh
blood.
god, here's Mela top lane. Okay, Hoonty's able to dash out with the wall dash.
Oh my god. Okay, that's what they needed in the bot lane. Mid lane, Jurgensen's flash wasn't up yet, which provided a great time for Kreiner to come in and gank. And then the top lane is just Mueller's cockiness getting ahead of him. Ooh, nice cute combo coming in from the Alistar in the bot lane.
And it was really nicely played by Lyra in the sense that they said, it was really nicely played by T2 in the sense that they said, oh, okay, fine, your Jarvan wants to gank here, we'll gank top. But if we look top lane now, Mela has been taunted by P666. He's so low, but he does have that ult available to him.
I like how P66 is kind of babying that top lane, because with Camille's ulti, even when Tryndamere has the 6, you can still keep pulling Trynda away and taunting the Rammus while Tryndamere's ult wears off. And so I can see this being kind of a babysit matchup for P66, focusing the top lane, getting that Herald. And could you remind me what dragon you're at today? Is it still Cloud?
It is Cloud Drake.
Then they're
Yeah,
definitely focusing the top lane. As much as I want to see Rammus, the little bug, go fast, it's better to make sure Mueller doesn't pop off early, because then the game will be taken away right away. I'm curious to see how Killcore manages the mid lane. As you can see, he's already... Oh, he might
Oh,
still
look, P666 is going to get caught out here. He gets a taunt. Here comes the, what do you call it? Syndra, not Sejuani. Syndra, and Killcore will pick up the kill, but here comes Toto. I'm saying here comes a lot. But anyway, Killcore will have to go into his passive. Won't be able to resurrect because Toto will pick up the kill. Thank you very much. Lucian 2-1.
So, if you are T2, you've done a major improvement from last game, and that is rotating when you need to rotate. They rotated the mid lane, they heard P6 getting caught out, and they're like, yes, we need to pick up this kill, we need to get Toto on a great first item before tempo does. Kai'Sa usually gets online at 3 items, potentially 2 if you have your Stormrazor and your Guinzeus. However, if you're Lucian, you just need your Bork and some boots, and you're roaring to go, especially with that Braum combo.
And you mentioned how Syndra wants to shove in the lane against Anivia, so I'm just going to head you over to the CS, because she is winning that CS. And that was really unfortunate for P666, getting caught out there in his own jungle, although the Lucian was able to rotate really well, and Toto was able to pick up that kill.
I think what really shows is that Killcore is pressing up, and he's doing a better job. Even though he can't shove wave, he can definitely make sure that the vision in the enemy jungle is to his advantage and to Kreiner's. Knowing that P666 will definitely go into your jungle and will definitely steal your camps, shows that Killcore has to do that extra effort to start warding out. And that's how you see on T2 side, they'll see those two control wards, 3 control wards on their bot side jungle, because they know while they're focusing top lane, Lyra is going to focus that bottom lane.
And Rammus, I thought he was going to get caught out there, but he had enough teammates around. And at the minute, it's kind of calm, just having a bit of vision war as Grathwall tries to pick up that control ward. But the Wintersplit does land on tempo. Will Lucian be able to have a little go here?
Nice knock-up.
And Rammus is approaching, but it's going to be too slow. Lucian trying to get the damage. Here comes the culling. Will they be able to? Grathwall surely going to fall here.
Now we have a game. Why got to get out of that ult, though?
Just about, there was just enough space for him to squeeze through. Braum's a big man, but he's able to fit through that gap.
What we're seeing right now is that the bot lane chosen by T2 is stronger early game than what we're seeing We're also seeing a very aggressive Rammus coming in, and we're showing that even though top lane may be a mess right now...
The Cataclysm. Are we going to see a Cataclysm on P666? Yes, we do. And Kryner will pick up the kill. Rammus just being a bit too aggressive and not respecting that. But the Syndra ult, will it pick up Kryner? He's got the Ignite ticking away, and there will be enough damage coming through as Toto's going to pick up the kill onto Killcore. And T2 are doing what they need to if they wanted to get... if they want to pick up this game too. As if we look top lane,
oh my god!
Oh, top lane, Mela will flash in with the Undying Rage. Hoonty went in with the ult, but Mela was just like, you can ult me, I'm just going to ult myself. Nothing you can do there.
And when we look at the top lane, Mueller was just like, I don't care what what everyone else is doing in the game. I'm going to kill you. And what he got out of it was an ult. Hoonty should have just backed off. She didn't have to continue fighting and probably miscalculated when Mueller's ult was up and so thought they could grab that kill. However, with Tryndamere, you never really know when you're safe, especially when laning against him. For the rest of the fights, as we see Lyra go for that Drake, for the rest of the fights, Rammus is being super aggressive. Toto's picking up all the kills, and I think we're not going to see such a steamroll as Cloud Drake gets picked up. As we saw last game coming from Lyra, I think they're going to have to be more methodical with their scaling and get that Kai'Sa on a couple items before we can really see them start taking over the game.
Yeah, because that Lyra team does have the better late game from the Kai'Sa. I'm not sure in regards to the other champion, maybe you can clear that up, but Lyra will want to get to that late game and try to scout there, as we've got a bit of a fight going in on top lane, and nothing's really going to mount from that there.
No, they do little skirmishes because they can. Mueller's up a level, so he always knows he has the push when he wants it. He's never going to want to push because P66 is waiting in the wing, as we see right now. And Hoonty's just taunting. Hoonty's going to want to freeze the lane. And so this works out where Hoonty can grab the farm, grab the experience. As long as P66 is around, Mueller knows that Hoonty's going to want to freeze that lane.
I was about to mention that Rammus was sitting patiently in that brush, but he's going to back out, and now he's going to try and go in for Killcore. Would he flash, get the taunt? That's a really nice stun from Killcore to stop P666, but here comes the Cataclysm from the Jarvan. He will pick up P666. It's going to take a long time though, and Kryner may die as the ultimate will pick up the kill for Jurgensen.
Oh, goodness. Oh, bot lane.
Oh. And
Tempo
Lucian's picked up the kill. Oh, wait, Lucian died.
Toto right there.
They went in as soon, as soon as Kawhi left. Here comes the ultimate from Kawhi. He's going to have to back straight off. Gets a Winter's Bite on Killcore. Will he go in for this? Wrathwolf's turning up now. Kai'Sa's still in the bot lane, so nothing they can do there. It's a 3v2. They can't really do much there. But this Syndra with the ult is picking up some really clutch kills.
And that's what they're going to need to do as SRG decides to move around the map a little bit more. As you can see, Mueller kind of just went down. Kawhi did leave his laner to die. That was kind of like a soft int from your teammate. I imagine there was a lot of pings after that. You're going to want to help your mid laner as Braum, but you're going to want to push out your lane first. And I think that was the mistake that was made from Kawhi there. We're seeing a lot of little skirmishes amount to these kills. It is 14 kills at 14 minutes, so we're on track as last game, except it's a little bit more even. Jurgensen is getting on Syndra's power spike right now with that lost chapter and those Sork boots. So you're going to have a lot of damage come on Killcore, and you're going to see a lot of more plays play around the mid lane until Herald gets picked up or until a tower gets pushed down. Milky.
Yeah. And the interesting thing with this is P666, he's been so aggressive, he's been getting caught out, but he is so tanky. He's got the Bramble Vest now, so Jarvan is there trying to kill him, but it just takes so long that Jurgensen's able to find the counter kill in time.
And we see Rams.
Oh, here comes Rammus. Can they get off the concussive blows? Yes, they can. He will get CC down. The Culling will pick up the kill. There's a TP flank from the Tryndamere. Toto, can he run away? Jarvan is going to get the flag and drag to pick up the kill. There's a Cataclysm, which will keep Kawhi and P666 under and rooted, as that's a double kill going over to Tryndamere. Great play from Lyra.
What you want to see from Lyra. That is the best, because they wasted so much resource to get down there. However, they can pick up first turret,
Oh, it's going to be a race for first turret between bot and top, and Lyra will get it by a fair bit. The wave just wasn't pushed in enough for Hoonti.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean Hoonti can't, of course, pick up the tower in response. If they do the lane switch, where Hoonti will have to come down and answer Mueller, that's going to be really, really crucial to set Lyra up to secure that Rift Herald in the top lane as they move a majority of their resources top now. What really went wrong was that Kreiner just entered the play. Colosseum'd, and that TP coming down, there wasn't enough communication on
And
T2's side.
The thing is, we mentioned that in the pregame. We mentioned that the Lucian Braum will be strong, will probably push in. So we did say how important it would be for Mela to TP in behind. And that's exactly what we've seen now.
Exactly. And as they're setting up for Herald, you're definitely seeing vision control around that. You're waiting for your Drake to respawn. Right now, you're making sure that your objective control
is a death brush from T2 as Rammus is going to try and go in. No, he's not. He doesn't have vision of where the Jarvan is. So I think that was a good respect there from P666.
T2 is trying to poke, but they don't have the resources right now. As Lyra's trying to take Herald, they're really just trying to poke him out of the jungle, and we're not seeing it. Mueller is just too quick. They have too much agility. They can either start up this Infernal, or they can go and clear out the vision around Herald. Right now, T2 is trying to bite off more than they can chew, and it's really showing.
Killcore getting off a fair bit of damage, but Mela's coming in now. He has the Undying Rage. Toto's going to back off. He won't be able to get any damage. P666 will die from Mela, but the Syndra ult will pick up Trinder right at the end. But there is the killer instinct from Tempo to kill Toto, and that's going to be the SRG Infernal Drake going over to the side of Lyra as a Braum and Kawaii also falls. Again, a kill going over to the Kai'Sa, so Kai'Sa will scale quite well.
Kai'Sa's going to get online right after they go back. Currently sitting on about 1,800 gold after that dragon pickup. Tempo's just going to say, hey, you missed me early game, but as we start roaming, this is when you realize that I'm still in the game, T2, and you have to respect that. I'm not seeing a Herald pickup, but the rotation.
Hoonti's going on Kreiner, but Grathwall is right there. They were baiting that out, and Hoonti will die. What about P666? Jarvan so low, Kreiner just about getting out with his life. But a good bait from the side of Lyra.
Lyra is baiting T2's aggression, but more importantly, they're baiting to see if the vision game on T2 is strong, and right now it's not. You don't have any control over the map, yet you're still trying to make plays. T2's not. They're getting out rotated. They're getting their vision scores down. Currently, they just don't know where Lyra is, and so they're trying to make plays where they're not sure of them. So in the early game, you'd see T2 take the plays in lane, but laning phase is over, and now they have no vision elsewhere.
Now, one thing I would have liked to see more from Hoonti, but it hasn't really happened, as we may see a fight, so I'll skip over to that if a fight does emerge. But Mela used the TP to pick up that kill, so I would have liked to see Camille split push more and have the availability to TP into a team fight, but we haven't seen the split pushing. She's split pushing now, so let's just see if Mela tries to defend that, and then she can TP back into lane, as the Rift Herald will be picked up for Lyra.
Agreed. And I'm going to bring back this question.
Oh, Grathwall's going to get the engage. Actually, can he get the stun? He's too far away. He just needs to get the auto. He does get the auto onto Kawaii. Jarvan will get the flag and drag, and Rammus will fall. Kai'Sa's going to get off a lot of damage, and that's one kill. The Syndra ult, though, deletes Tempo, and Syndra is proving to be so clutch right now for T2.
Tempo is doing what any good ADC should do. When your team grabs objectives, you need to stay behind them, especially when your Alistar engages a brutal engage right in their mid lane. So even if you're in tower range, you stay behind, you kite him out. And that's exactly what Tempo did. He did sacrifice his life for Yerksen. And
now, I just want to point out, Kreiner has a Cataclysm. He can go on Toto. The Anivia wall comes out, but he will not engage. And I feel like they could have been a bit more aggressive there and possibly picked up Toto and taken early Baron.
I agree. The early Baron, with the new changes to 9.2 is going to be a little weaker, as the game wants us to obviously play out our games. But the weaker portion is where the minions are a little bit weaker and the buff is a little bit weaker, and it scales higher with each passing minute.
Right, Rammus heading a bot side. Can he close into Mela? No, he's too far. Mela has that dash. But Braum's actually coming in. Maybe he could pick up a little something onto Trinda. Here we go. The Wintersplit does land. Will he be
But he
able to
doesn't
get
have
off the
any
stun?
follow-up. He's if I was Mueller, I would 1v3 him right now. They're not
But
respecting.
look, it's
the
an
level
early
13
Baron.
trip.
It's an early Baron from Lyra. Mela is keeping them in that bot side. Both top laners have the TP available to them. Lucian and Syndra trying to head over. Syndra does have that Banshee's Veil, but the two of them cannot contest because Jarvan has the Cataclysm. And that is Baron.
And Shelly was put in the bot lane. Mueller's going to delete Hunty, or at least push him away.
Yeah, Mela almost has the flash up, but Hunty will just use it.
They're going to
broken
push
wall
it,
there.
a war on two fronts, one might say, where in the bot lane you have Shelly and Hunty, with Yerksen trying to recover as much territory as they can. And in the top lane,
Oh, look
nice
at that.
soft
Someone's
hit
get
from
Kawhi got deleted there.
as
You
just
cannot
walks
go
into
in.
them.
This is the moment in solo queue where it's like, so Kawhi kind of pings, where's my follow-up? And Lucian's like, I'm not fighting that. I'm not going to die with you.
No, there's something I expected a little bit more from T2 coming in the early game, and they gave me that. What they could manage was managing the mid-game roams coming from Grathwall, those Colosseums coming from Kreiner. Rammus was a great pick if laning
Oh,
phase
look how
continued.
aggressive Grathwall is being under the turret. Waiting for the turret to go down before he engages. He's got the Syndra open. Banshee's Veil isn't propped on her yet. But look at Mela. He's picked up the turret bot lane. What do you do right now if you're T2?
If you're T2, you have to bring someone to kite out Mueller, because Hunty's not going to be able to do it. Hunty would be more powerful in the team fight to kind of counteract Kreiner's Cataclysm. When Kreiner goes in with the Colosseum, Camille goes in and ults J4 in the Cataclysm, just to make sure that zoning effect happens with the rest of the team. We haven't seen that all game.
And again, it's just struggling to see how T2 come back into this. It's going to be so hard. They were able to push Mela off, but there's an open inhibitor on both the top and bot lane, and Lyra have used the Baron really well, and that was before they even reset.
Yeah, this Baron power play got them a lot of gold, but the gold differential right now, we're seeing, a 8,000 gold lead? So if I'm T2, my turtling efforts have to pay off. I have to wait for Baron to pay off. I have to get more items on my Lucian, get a Zanya's on my Syndra, or at least some more damage if I feel I can protect them with Camille and Rammus. And then for Camille, you're going to have to build a little bit more armor, you're going to have to tank it out, and you're going to have to wait it out.
But
The
the long...
thing-
I was going to say
the longer you wait, tempo's just going to run you over.
Exactly, and
that's just something T2 has to accept.
Lyra have 3 Drakes, including the 2 Infernals, so when Elder comes up, they will be absolutely disgusting.
And we did get some Infernals, to T2's chagrin. We can't all have Wind Drakes. That was a great shove coming from Yerksen, but unfortunately, that's all of the nice things I can say for T2. They're all kind of grouped up, though.
They're just going to defend that Baron Empowered Cannon as here comes the ultimate from Kawhi. Kreiner will pick up Jorgensen, and the Cataclysm will pick up the Lucian. T2 are getting annihilated right now. Huni is so low and the burn will get the kill. P666 is going to be forced out by Killcore. He might even die from the minions. Yes, there's a death. And Lyra will win the series 2-0. And that is 6 wins to 0 over their first 3 games of Wintersplit.
Lyra's really showing dominance right here in the Wintersplit. Something I enjoy, because they're playing early game, and when they don't have an early game lead, they're really playing for that mid game and ending it when they need to and not stalling out. Lyra deserved this win. T2 needs to work on their lanes, and it has been a great game. Who's your MVP? Let's talk about it. Who do you think was the best player of the series between T2 and Lyra?
Well, you say that we will be having our votes are open to everyone on Twitch, so guys do vote in that. But I think in the first game, Grathwall was so good on the Lulu. Tempo played well in both games, but I feel like we've seen a bit of a change from Killcore. We were saying in the pre-game, watch out for Killcore because when he gets ganked, he'll possibly die. But that hasn't been happening, and I do think Killcore has improved a lot in that sense. But I think my MVP is probably either Tempo or Grathwall because they've been so good in that bot lane.
I'd say Tempo MVP of the first game, but overall, I'd have to give it to support with Grathwall. You get a lot of play of the game, knockups coming from Alistar, staying in lane, staying by the Kai'Sa.
I feel some kind of bias there because you're a support main. I mean, I'm a support main as well, so I see that, but is there a bit of bias, or is that fair?
Let's take the supports out.
Okay,
if there's no support
out.
or the bot lane, we'll just delete half the map here.
Exactly.
I think Kreiner and Killcore, their duo, being able to follow each other around, really set up game 2. Killcore did not push up. However, he didn't show us a lot of plays of the game. He just was there with his team, which shows excellent map awareness. But I'm going to have to give it to Tempo overall because he didn't fall behind.
In fact, someone's mentioned in the chat that Kreiner was ridiculous. And actually, I forgot how stupid he was on that Zac in game 1.
The engages were just set up Tempo for all of their kills. It was 4 supports and 1 Vayne. And so I struggled to not give it to Tempo because of the security of the kills. However, Kreiner and Grathwall set them up pristine. They waited and to see if Galio would ult, and without that ult in game 1, they were lost T2. So I would like to respect Mueller's Tryndamere pick. He showed us why to ban Tryndamere from him.
Yeah, definitely. But that has been this game between Lyra and T2 as Lyra pick up a clean sweep, their 3rd clean sweep of the winter split as they move to the top of the table. Thank you guys very much for watching. It has been a pleasure to cast this game. So from Hat and myself, goodbye and see you next time.